Grace, are you on the team here or what?
I'm on the team.
Well,
I thought we were going to be stream sniping.
Why don't you send some of these guys? Call them out by name, Bash.
Well,
Call
why
them out by
don't you
name,
go
Ben
on there,
Noach.
Grace,
It's
and
his
you'll
cool.
be hey,
It's his
Grace.
Coomer Army. It's his Coomer Army.
Hey, Grace, why don't you go on
Yeah, but
there?
you're
Your
Joan
big
of Arc,
head
right?
And your little
Joan-
tit stick, your little perky tit sticking out, and go tell them to bring them over here and use some bait then. What do you think?
Yeah.
I'm the bait to bring them over?
Yeah.
Go say, hey, if you want a real woman over here, come on over here. How about that? Why don't you lose your little ass, Grace, and use your little sexual appeal that you claim to have?
Now that's what I'm talking about.
All right.
Fucking princess, get lost. Go shake your ass out on the streets of Vegas, of the internet.
That's right. I
Bring
put her
back
on Boulder
some boys.
Highway. I'd sell Grace's ass on Boulder Highway.
Yeah.
All right,
Get out
let's
there on
see.
Boulder Highway.
She's
and
not
bring
even.
us
She's
back
not
the
even.
money.
She hasn't even worked up to the strip yet.
Now call her mother, and get her on here and get her to go. Oh, Grace, you've got to stop this.
Oh, shut up, Courtney. Shut up, Courtney. You dysgenic subhuman woman. Rotter.
Whatever. Such a fucking loser. Okay.
Let's do a GoFundMe for a specific article.
Okay, that's fine.
No, Grace, AC/DC. Oh, Rick James is Rick James.
She's a very kinky girl. You don't take her to mother. She will never let your spirits down.
That's it. Work for the boys.
Off the street. She likes the boys in the bed. She's so good.
I don't know how you can be Catholic and claim to be Catholic and like do this, but okay.
If Grace wants to probably be a stripper.
Yes, you can cam up if you would like. Hello? You're muted in case you were unaware. You're muted on your own end. You may have to unmute yourself.
Yes.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Great.
Awesome. So, I guess what's the story here? What's the story here? What do you guys stand for? What's going on? What are you trying to achieve?
That's a great question. I didn't catch the earlier part of your stream, so I'm not sure you had Andrew Wilson on.
Yeah, I did have Andrew Wilson on for a little bit. Yeah.
Andrew Wilson. Okay. And what was his take?
His take, he thinks that you guys are grifters. That everything that you're doing is kind of played up for an audience to generate more views.
Okay, but isn't that what you do as well?
I mean, to some extent, all streamers do that. Yeah, for sure.
Well, we want to succeed on YouTube. I don't know. I've heard a lot of people say they don't want to succeed on YouTube, but
yeah,
why would you be here if you don't want to succeed?
Sure.
But a grifter, I take it as someone who is running a scam, sort of. There's no scam here.
Okay. All right. So what are your goals? What do you stand for as a person? Do you want to do debate content? What do you want to preach a certain way of life? What exactly are you aiming for?
I'm trying to develop what I call me personally. Grace is different and others different. We're all streamers. I'm trying to develop what I call the center edgelord position on things in general. Like, for example, you don't seem like you're that wound up. Grace just got off a stream where this woman was screaming at her that she's the victim of abuse and she's an abuser. And you can imagine people read their own whatever hostility towards men because I'm a big guy. I'm openly sort of masculine. And so I become the epitome of whatever their issues are. But there's a kind of hysteria. I'm sure you've seen it. I know that we may have crossed paths on the Crucible, but I kept getting banned there by Andrew because he said I was supposedly a an informant for the FBI
Mhm.
against the Orthodox Church.
Mm.
But
Okay.
I think there's a hysteria about things like sexual things. It doesn't make any sense, Like kid Ryan, Radical Coder, who was just on. He wants to do what Destiny's doing, an open marriage.
Okay.
When he gets married. And to me, that's child abuse, frankly, because, of course, the question would be, what do you do if a child is conceived as the result of, the reproductive act? And I guess his solution is some combination of abortion. And it doesn't make any sense to me.
Well,
To
yeah.
set up a situation like that, a child should have parents, right? It's the whole point. It's nature. It's
Um,
not crazy.
so I don't
Yeah.
really want to talk about Radical Coder. I don't know much about him, to be honest with you. I'm friendly with him, but I've been in debate panels with him, but I don't
Yeah.
know much about what he stands for.
Well, I'm
But
just saying same as
yeah,
Destiny. Destiny's the same type of guy. He's got an open marriage. I'm not trying to like throw shade on Destiny. He says I have an open marriage, and I asked him what happens if there's a child conceived, and he said, murder. That's what we do.
well,
So I mean, to throw shade on me, people say, "Oh, I've seen things that you have a warm relationship with your daughter." Okay, yeah, that's true. We've been through, an interesting set of circumstances here in our family, and we've gotten closer than maybe normally a father and daughter do. Um, that's not a crime, and
no,
we're
no,
not
no. Okay, so I'm
advocating
not I'm
incest or
not
anything like
accusing
that.
you guys of incest. I don't think that there's like incest going on.
Yeah.
Anything that I have, heard obviously seems like a joke to me, with the exception that, the playing up of sexuality on stream, right? I guess
No,
my
no, I don't think there's any playing up of sexuality on stream. I think that there's a normal like I flirt with a lot of females on stream, and I think that that's totally normal. Grace's mother.
sure, but I
I think
mean,
that's
like,
normal.
sure, but again, asking like your daughter to like wear lingerie on stream and telling her to like put it up against the wall, like obviously I know that you're trying to do that to some extent for views, but at the same time it is
Not
still
really.
it's still sexualizing your daughter, is it not?
No, you know who sexualized my daughter? Her father in heaven. It's called puberty. She's a sexual person. And my point with Grace, it's an honest, sincere point. You can say I played up for views, and yeah, I mean maybe. But honestly, I think that we're our background is kind of like Catholic, conservative, and that's kind of on the right. And I think that I don't know your background, but I think there's this culture. It's very difficult to negotiate as a female streamer. On the one hand, yes, there are people who exploit themselves. There's OnlyFans, can be porn and exploitative, and there's a kind of e-girl sort of, I don't know, degrading culture. On the other hand, there's a kind of hysterical puritanism about female sexuality, which I do not. People say, how can you be a Catholic and have your daughter dance for men? Why can't I? I don't have her dance for men. She's an adult. Why can't she dance?
But you're encouraging it.
Sure. Is Taylor Swift's father, if he was encouraging her to look great while she performs, is he abusing her?
It's not even about looking great though, right? And I don't think I've used the word abusive towards you, but I
Yeah.
do think so I'm not going to jump to extremes like other people. I'm sure you've talked to other
Yeah, I
streamers who
appreciate
do
that.
jump to extremes.
Yeah.
But, there's a difference between like keep yourself healthy, look great, make sure you're looking sharp versus Grace, go put on some lingerie, Grace, go dance for the viewers,
Oh,
put some music on, dance for that, especially in the direction to a man who his name is Hormaxer, right?
yeah, he's a great guy. I encourage you. He's actually a great guy. Yeah, he talks a little dirty. This is my point. In our family dynamic, Grace's mother was unable to, sort of. I don't know your family dynamic, but a mother usually sort of initiates the daughter into, wearing a bra, having the monthly cycles, all that sort of stuff. That didn't really occur because Grace's mother, I think, sort of lacks maturity. I'm not saying, she just didn't know how to do it because she didn't have a successful experience. of that herself. So, so my daughters have this thing. I think if it's left to the father, right, because their mother has basically dropped out of the picture, right? For the last 5.5 years, she's just been totally non-responsive because I called some of this stuff out. Like, what are we doing here? So I think a girl can get alienated, and Grace is a natural performer. She's always been a performer. You could say that I exploit her by saying that I think she could do great performing as a career, but I don't really understand that. Do I benefit from it? Would I benefit from it? Sure. I don't think there's anything wrong with families encouraging their kids to succeed. And I think a part of that is when she first came on stream. I mean, obviously she's a very lovely young lady, but the sexual let's say the sexual attention that an attractive young woman will get on stream can be difficult to negotiate. Would you agree with that?
Sure, it can be difficult.
It
But
can be exciting, overwhelming. Go ahead.
yeah, but I am not disagreeing with that, but you are talking about this man is 45. He talked about pimping your daughter out
Yeah.
on and no father, I think, who, or any parent really, who is following a religion like Catholicism or is following like a more conservative way of life would be okay with a man like named Whoremaxer disrespecting his daughter like that.
Yeah, it's a joke. I mean, it's a bit. He's playing a certain part, and
Even
we're
if
playing
it's a
into it.
joke,
No,
like,
wait a
it's
minute. Wait a
still
minute.
disrespecting her,
You
right?
assume that religious people are conservative, and I don't think that's
Well, you said
necessarily true.
yourself that you were conservative, right?
We used to come out of that kind of. I mean, that's sort of where I come out of, but that's why I say I'm moving towards the center. I don't. Do you think
Uh-huh.
Pope Francis? I don't know what you know about Pope Francis. He's not really a conservative, and conservative people hate
But
him. Catholics.
he probably still wouldn't encourage a girl to dress provocatively and dance for a man or dance for viewers on
Well,
stream, right?
it's kind of interesting. Pope Francis recently sort of said, like, dating on Tinder, like, we shouldn't be so uptight about it. And that's an interesting thing. A lot. It is true that uh, a lot of liaisons on Tinder are like fleeting sexual encounters, but it's where people meet these days. And so I think he was saying, like, let's not be so uptight and anti internet dating.
Sure, but
And the
again,
Pope is in many ways liberal. He's had transgender people that
yeah, but
he's
I'm
met
not even
with and
talking about
called them by their pronouns.
religious people, like you yourself, like based on
Yeah.
your beliefs, right? You
Hmm.
are not just a Catholic, but you have said
No,
that you're a conservative leaning man, right?
no,
And
no.
you just did say that earlier in this
No, I
stream.
previously, I mean, that's my like sort of. I used to teach in a Catholic school. That's what I grew up with, but I hate it. I hate it. Yeah, and for example, there's a traditional way there's a way that right wing people look at women. There's a way that left wing people look at women. I think they're both crazy. On the right wing, you have this idea that uh, with a daughter who's 20 years old, am like personally accountable for everything she does, and that everything she does is me telling her to do something, and if she wears whatever clothing she wants to wear, that I am telling her to do it. It's crazy. She's not a child. She's not
But
a baby.
in that video, in that one stream, you were encouraging her, along with Warmaxer, you were both
Yeah.
encouraging her to put on lingerie, to put on a tight mini skirt, right?
Mm.
So I'm not saying that any decision that she makes is up to you. I'm saying I am pointing at a direct example of you actually instructing her and encouraging her to do something.
And I tell you, it's a funny thing because I come from I think you're millennial, maybe.
Yeah,
Generation.
millennial, yeah. Mhm.
I'm Generation X, and when we were kid, my generation, parents didn't have to tell their kids have sex. People were having sex. These days, I honestly feel on both sides, I have to tell like young men, like, it's okay to have a penis. Let's bring it over to a vagina. It's gonna be okay, guys. And I know it can be scary, but there's a real like sort of inability of the sexes to connect. And on like whatever, for better or worse, I'm constantly encouraging young men to interact with my daughter, and they don't want to. So I have to encourage her too. Like,
I
You know,
I
guys,
understand, but a
and my
45-year-old
sons too. I
man
tell
with a history of being in and out of jail, right? Like he has a
who
history
does.
of being. I'm pretty sure, like Hormaxer, right?
I don't know.
He's been in and out, right? You don't know who these people are in the chat who are making passes at Grace. You don't know who you are exposing her to.
Well,
So yes,
we've gotten
you
to know him.
maybe. Sure, maybe you've gotten to know him, but still you don't
Yeah.
know who she's exposing herself to in the chat, right? If there could be a crazy stalker in the chat.
There could be a crazy stalker in your chat.
There could be, but again, I'm not encouraging any woman to like expose herself on my stream, right? I'm not encouraging
Expose
her to
herself. What are you talking about?
I'm not encouraging any woman to form a unhealthy, like parasocial, like pseudo relationship with any of these male viewers, right?
Well, aren't you doing that?
I'm not. No, I
You don't
dress
have parasocial relationships with your viewers? Yes,
I
you
do have parasocial relationships, but I will tell you, I dress more conservative than all of the conservative female streamers. I cut off any type of flirting or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't respond to it.
Sure.
This is just the type of person that I am.
Yeah, right. And so what? You can do that. I'm not criticizing you.
Sure,
Does
but
everyone have
again,
to do that? Can a young female flirt?
there is a huge difference between allowing and encouraging your daughter to go out and flirt and
I mean, you
form
lack
relationships.
no offense, but you
wait.
sort of lack charisma.
You
You sort of lack
sure.
energy.
Sure. But again, I'm the one here with the viewers, right? So, you are.
Well,
we're
a few,
talking.
yeah.
we're talking about. There's a difference between you encouraging your daughter to go out and express herself and embrace her femininity versus her playing up her sexuality, putting on lingerie and dancing for a stream full of strangers that she doesn't know.
Yeah, there's a difference. I don't know what to tell you. Do you think, like, you're a young woman? I'm not trying to cross any lines, but do you think that your body is something that you should be ashamed of?
No.
Okay, so and I understand people have different comfort levels. I don't have any problem with someone saying, like, I'm a female streamer and I just want to be, let's say, into politics or intellectual. No problem. But if someone wants to perform and dance, do you think that that's immoral?
It's not, but it should be at her own discovery, not from her dad and a 45-year-old man who is making sexual passes at her, encouraging her to wear lingerie and encouraging her to dance before a stream.
Well, why can't a parent encourage their children to do things more effectively, and then they can take it or
A
leave it?
parent encouraging a daughter to dress provocatively and dance before a group of strangers who might have bad interests for her.
What does that mean, bad interests? Are you saying that men would be sexually attracted to a sexually attractive young woman? That's like how it's supposed to work.
It's supposed to work 100%. Yes.
She's not. If she was married, I would say, that's inappropriate.
You're not
She's
understanding.
Not married.
You're not understanding.
She's not a
though.
child.
You're
not understanding.
I don't have an issue with her embracing her femininity and with her discovering who she is as a woman. I have no problem with that. What I have a problem with is why, as a father who is supposed to be protective of her, are you encouraging her along with a 45?
I think the father has a dual role.
Along with a 45-year-old man who's making sexual passes at her, why are you encouraging her to dance and wear provocative clothing in front of a group of strangers who you don't know anything about them? They watch Hormaxer's content frequently. They can't be the best people.
Why can't they be?
I mean,
well, I don't know what the answer is.
I mean, look,
she's free to do whatever she wants to do. But are you telling me that if I was to encourage, let's say one of my sons, like he's an artist, one of my sons is an artist, I've encouraged him to do art shows and try to work art galleries, and show his stuff. What's the problem? I don't understand why that's the problem.
If you had your son on your stream
and make money.
If you had your son on your stream and you encouraged him to take his shirt off and to dress provocatively and dance before a stream full of people, I would have just as much of a problem with that as well.
Okay, so if my son was Justin Bieber, it's like, I don't understand it. I just don't understand. Those kids can use adults, right? I understand if you're talking about little kids, but adults are free to negotiate that space as they see fit.
Yeah,
Now,
but
when
you're
Grace first
belittling
came on,
her.
hold on a second. Why is it
You
belittling
you were
someone to
belittling
say
you
that
in
they're
that
attractive?
stream.
I've
In that
taken my shirt off on
Okay,
stream.
no. See that's not. I'm not
Is that
not saying.
belittling?
I'm not saying you're belittling her because of you acknowledging her attractiveness. What I'm saying is that in that stream where you and Hormaxer were encouraging her to wear lingerie and dance, you started belittling her, saying, "Oh, she's smiling now, but she's going to have a problem with this once stream ends." As if that's
Yeah.
unreasonable for her. Why is it
Freezing
unreasonable
again.
for her to have a problem with the way that you and Hormaxer are encouraging her to behave?
Well, I think there's a problem with females, especially kind of, let's say she was raised to sort of hate sexuality. And I think she sort of internalized that, and I want her to relax about it. And she's an adult, and she can choose not to, but I mean, it's part of the game of life, right? Women have a certain sexual power, especially young, attractive women, and I think that they should feel free to exercise that power or not as they see fit. But I don't think there's anything wrong. When we first came on the internet, she was just my tech helper. And then I asked her if she wanted to co-host with me. And I said openly, because I was doing religious stuff like the Crucible. And it's like, that's a space that's like 95% male. And I said, if you co-host with me, it'll definitely, bring male viewers in. And, people said that. And I said, yeah, right. What's the problem with that? It'll help me succeed. And it'll, give you some chance to be. Is there something wrong with that? Is that exploitative?
I'm talking about a very specific example here, right? I'm talking about a very specific example in which you and 45-year-old Hormaxer, who's making sexual passes at your daughter,
Yeah,
are
he is. Yeah.
encouraging her to dress
Yeah.
provocatively and to dance before a group of strangers. And she is not making that choice of her own. She's doing that because you requested it, and because Hormaxer requested it, and because she wants your approval.
Okay, so you don't think adult women have the ability to make
Of
decisions?
course they do, but you're berating her even in that, saying like, oh, she's gonna have a problem with this when stream ends.
So,
As if her having an opposite opinion of you in that situation is a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, I have suggested to her
It's
that she
essentially
needs
pressuring
to.
her.
Sure, I think parents can put pressure on. I act
Pressuring
really
her
in
to
that.
be sexual in front of strangers?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, are you really Catholic? Because I'm pretty sure from Catholicism, the teachings of Catholicism, you're supposed to avoid provocative clothing and avoid flirting, right? And you're encouraging her to do those things.
Yeah, no, I encourage flirting. Flirting? You think flirting is discouraged by the Catholic Church? Why? I would not encourage her to do that if she was married, but she's not married and she's not a child. I don't understand what your problem is. I think you're just wound up. And I think so many people online are so wound up about sex. I think that sexuality, I don't know if you disagree. Do you think the Catholic Church thinks that sex is a evil thing? Probably you do think that.
No, between a married couple, it's not an evil thing, right? Between a
Well, how do they
committed
get
married
married,
couple.
Stardust?
But
How do they get married?
Yeah, I mean,
How does
like,
it
look,
work?
but again, provocative clothing is something that Catholics are against. Essentially, like, even
What's provocative? A skirt? What's
it's not
provocative?
it's quite literally she was wearing lingerie. It showed her skin.
Actually, it wasn't lingerie per se, but okay, fine, yeah.
It showed
so
her
it's a
skin.
low-cut
Yeah, it
shirt?
showed her breasts. It showed her skin. How are you
Okay,
Catholic?
okay.
You're grifting.
Okay, is it wrong for a woman to wear clothes which in some way show that she has breasts?
No,
Is that
but
wrong?
again, based on your view, right? You are
I
a
mean,
Catholic.
are you a Muslim or something?
I'm not a
I don't
Muslim,
know.
but I come from a more a background. But I'm not. I'm talking about from your personal view. That from your personal view, you are a Catholic,
Lock me
right?
up
You
again.
are a moderate Catholic. If you believe in Catholicism, there is a dress code to it. The
there
saints
is
have
not.
spoken about it. And you know that you are grifting. You're essentially grifting.
Okay, so all right, so let me ask you a question. If Grace goes to the beach, which I think is, would you say that on your understanding it's okay for Catholics to go to the beach? Do you think that
Yeah,
would
of
be
course, but
okay?
I'm going off
Okay,
of
and then
your
wait a minute,
worldview.
hold on a minute.
I'm
Okay.
not. Don't do my worldview. I'm doing your worldview. You are
Okay, I
Catholic. You are
asked you
moderate.
what you since you apparently have made yourself the Pope because you understand Catholicism better than me, even though I've studied Catholicism and I'm a master of theology from a
Okay.
pontifical university. Okay, so
Okay.
but you know better than me, right? So I'm asking you the question, since you're the Pope, I would like for you, the Pope, to tell me whether it's morally acceptable for young people to go to the beach. And
Yeah,
my
it's morally
follow-up question
acceptable. Yeah.
is it okay for them to wear what would be a normal piece of swimwear, or are they supposed to wear some kind of gigantic burqa type thing because they're Catholic? Answer the fucking question.
Yeah, I think I don't know the Catholic perspective, but I would
Yeah,
I
I
would
do.
think I would think that probably wearing like normal beach attire is fine, right? But she was
Yeah.
not wearing normal beach attire. She was wearing literally lingerie. It was see-through. You could see her skin through that.
Okay, I don't know. Are you a lesbian or something? What is the problem? People have skin. You want to see my skin? I'll show you my skin. It's not
I
that
would
big of
rather
a deal.
not. Thank
I'm
you,
not
though.
sure what your problem is. People have skin. People wear what
Do
you
you
consider
not
provocative outfits. I don't know. Did
do,
your mother ever tell you that like life is fun,
did you
sexuality is fun?
not do
Maybe
you
you come
not
from a
see an
wound up
issue? Do you
Hindu
not see a
background or something.
contradiction here? Do you not see a contradiction in what you are claiming to believe in, and what what
I
you are
get
claiming?
it, Stardust. You're just gonna say the same fucking thing a million times. Listen, I believe that the human body is a beautiful thing. I understand that there is a temptation for females to degrade themselves. I do not encourage
Why are
Grace
you
in any way to
encouraging?
degrade herself.
You were encouraging her to degrade herself.
According to
Even
you,
yes,
what do I fucking
when
care what you think?
when
You're
Hormaxer
a
is
wound
saying,
up Hindu or something. I don't
I'm
get
not
it.
a Hindu, I'm an atheist, believe it or not. But when
Well, you were raised
Hormaxer
obviously in a very hyper traditional
when
culture,
when
and that those
Hormaxer
cultures have problems.
when
You
Hormaxer
know
is
how
taught
women were treated in Hindu culture? Do you understand like
I
the way
am
women are looked
aware,
at in Hindu
I am a
culture? It's
feminist.
not
I'm a
totally
feminist.
healthy.
Yeah, I'm a
I am
feminist.
too.
Okay,
So
so
why do you keep telling women they can't wear
I have
normal
no
clothing?
problem when a woman chooses of her own volition to make that choice. But what you are talking about is Hormaxer. In the same stream, Hormaxer is making a joke about pimping your daughter out on
Yeah,
the
it's a
Boulder
joke,
Highway.
right.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter if it's a joke. At what
Why
point
doesn't
does
it
a
matter
joke?
if it's a joke? Why can't
Because the
adults joke
a
around
joke can still
about
be degrading.
sexuality? What
A
is your
joke can still
fucking
be degrading to your
problem?
daughter.
Well, I don't know if I say to my kids, "Will you quit jerking off and come down?" My sons, "Will you quit jerking off and come down here and whatever fix this thing?" Is that degrading to them? It's the normal
Are
way
you
in which
telling
young
your
people
sons
talk.
to are you okay with another adult telling your sons that they are going to pimp them out on a highway and then
Yeah.
telling them to dance before a bunch of strangers online?
I went to the bowling alley with my sons. They're a little wound up, because we've been through a lot. And I told them, I saw some girls who were scantily clad, whatever. They're looking. No, I don't think a lot of women go bowling because they love bowling. I said, go talk to them. Yes, I'll say like, yeah, guys, go get
Go
some
talk.
pussy.
That's
Now, do
fine.
I want them to have premarital sex or any of that stuff? No, but I'm just saying, guys, standing over here in the corner, I don't know. It's like, you know what I mean?
Again, there's a massive difference between encouraging your sons to go and approach some women they may be interested in and start a
Yeah.
conversation with them versus encouraging your daughter to change her outfit to something provocative and dance before a 45-year-old man who has a history of being creepy online and dancing provocatively for an audience that
Not
she
really
doesn't
any
know.
difference. Not
There's
really
a
any
huge
difference.
difference there.
Well, I
You
don't
want
care what
you want your
I don't know
children.
what. Are you my
okay,
fucking mother? Because you
want
suck.
your look.
That's
wh-
why
I
you're
know.
not
I get
really
it.
making
I suck.
it here
I
online.
suck.
You
Okay,
suck.
I get
You're
it.
boring,
Yeah, I'm
and
the
you're
one
a
with the viewers.
scolding fucking mother. Why don't you
I'm the one
relax?
with
Try
the
to have a
viewers, but
sense
I'm
of
the one who
humor.
sucks.
Have
Okay.
some fun. Lean into the jokes. No one's getting hurt here, Stardust.
I'm
What are
totally
you
fine with
talking
edgy
about?
jokes. I'm totally fine with that. But I think that there is like there is a line, right? And one of those things is, again, with
I
your
agree.
sons.
There's a line. Yeah.
Your sons, you are encouraging them to engage in a healthy way with the opposite sex, right? What you were
I
encouraging
think
from
so.
Grace, yes, what you were encouraging from Grace in that stream was not something that I saw that was a healthy way of engaging with the opposite sex.
Why isn't it healthy? Just because you don't think it's healthy?
Because
What's wrong with a woman exploring, an
she's
adult
okay with a
woman
man.
exploring?
She's okay with a man degrading her and joking that he's going to pimp
It's
her
not
out.
yeah,
She's
it's
okay
a
with
joke. A
with
joke is not
with a man
degrading.
telling her what to wear and then her putting it on, and then she's okay with you belittling
She's
her
free.
if she has any problems with that stream later on.
Yeah.
You said, oh, you were making fun of her. You said she's gonna have a problem with this later on, as if it was a bad thing.
Stardust, I would encourage you to be more attractive if you want to succeed online. If I was your father, if I was your uncle, whatever, I would say, if you wanted, I could help you to do that. You're a lovely young lady. I think that's part of it.
Okay.
But if you want to be this old little, sort of mother figure, grandmother figure, whatever the hell it is you're doing, you can do that too. It just sucks. You're not gonna blow up, and it's gonna be boring. I would have a little
This
more
guy's
fun.
wins worst father
But if
award.
you want to be this person, that's fine. But I don't know why you're judging me, because I'm saying, like,
I just think it's
consider having
hypocritical.
some more fun.
I think it's hypocritical. I don't think you're encouraging her to have fun in a healthy way. I think there are healthy ways for her to engage with her sexuality and engage with.
You're uptight. I get it. You're
no,
uptight.
I'm not. I'm pretty progressive. I think that there's a healthy way for her to.
Progressives suck too. On the left, the problem is that women are treated as like non-people because they're seen as victims, and you have to be careful, and there's all this consent and all this like anti-masculinity. It sucks. Yeah.
So
there's a healthy middle ground.
Where do you draw the line at being attractive for a woman online to gain viewership? Where do you draw the line? Should she, what exactly would you say?
It's a combination of whatever the person feels comfortable with and whatever, kind of works. I don't understand. Do you think Taylor Swift should wear a burqa or whatever the
No.
Hindu thing
But
of that
I
is?
don't think that you should be
Is she
shaming your
sexually
daughter.
attractive?
I don't think you should be shaming your daughter if she decides to feel a different way off stream about the way that she is dressing on that
Well,
stream.
maybe she's a little uptight, and maybe you're a little uptight. What's the problem with me suggesting that?
That's
You're
not
an
being
adult.
uptight. That's her exercising her own agency, and you're discouraging her from
So you think that
exercising
an
her own
adult-
agency.
So an adult father can't suggest something to his adult daughter? Why not?
Where is the line? When does it become inappropriate?
I don't know. If she brought a guy and said, like, we're dating, and I talked with him and I said, I've got some concerns here, is that appropriate or inappropriate or what?
Well, my question is, at what point, when you're a father and you're encouraging your daughter to do stuff on stream, at what line do things become inappropriate?
I don't think that women should objectify themselves sexually. Yeah, I know. I think there's a problem. We've all known, like, the backseat Betty who misappropriates the sexual power and sort of, it doesn't handle it properly. I think you should always be a dignified person. But I'm sorry, Stardust, it's okay to be a female. Do you know what?
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay to be sexual. We're all sexual.
Would you
right?
encourage your daughter to
Including-
do a topless stream?
I've done a topless stream in a bathtub. If she did a hot tub stream, yeah, I do think there's a line.
Okay,
And,
so would you,
know-
or yes or no, would you encourage her to do a topless stream?
I mean, if the bubbles covered her like that, she could do that or not. I'm a little hesitant with that stuff personally. But if she wanted to do that, Stardust, if she wanted to go have sex with guys, right, meet them at bars and have sex with them, I'm not really going to tell her she can't do that. I would just say, be careful. But
Right,
if she
is-
also never went out to meet guys, I would encourage her, like, get out there. It's okay. Don't be too uptight. Don't you
That's fine.
understand? There's a balance between being too uptight and being too loose.
I
And it's
understand
mostly
that.
her thing, but I can encourage her if it goes one way or the other. She's done dances where I'm like, yeah, that's
But
a
you
little
want her
kind
to
of
be
hookerish.
dignified, right? You want her to be dignified.
Yeah.
What is
Yeah, but
dignified
your idea
about
of dignified
what
is
what is
Burka
dignified
idea.
about her licking panties for a 45-year-old man? What is dignified about that?
Well, I wasn't part of that. So you can ask
I mean,
her
you
what's
didn't
dignified
discourage
about
it, right?
I think it's okay for
You didn't tell him or say, "Hey man, that's not, I don't like you talking that way."
Well, Stardust, it's weird because that was her 100%. I had nothing to do with that. And why can't an adult female explore her sexuality? I get that the clips or whatever will come out. She sent a DM to a guy with a kind of ass shot, right? But she was wearing panties. I had no idea about it, but he dropped it on her as kind of like revenge porn. Should I police that? It's up to her. Young people
Okay,
do that. It's not
In
my
this
culture.
stream, in the same stream, you were going along with Hormaxer and encouraging her to dance before the stream and wear
What I was
provocative
actually
clothing,
can I
right?
explain? Oh my God, you are
But
so uptight.
but
I've never met
but wait
anyone so
wait
uptight in my life.
but
Good Lord.
when she is encouraged
It's
to
like
lick panties, you don't step in.
I don't police everything my daughter does. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
you
I
were
was
pretty
probably in another
vocal
room
about
at the time.
you were pretty vocal about not wanting her to change her mind or not wanting her to feel bad about this after stream, right?
Stardust, do you know what the first commandment in the Bible is?
What is that?
Before any of the 10 commandments, the
Mhm.
Lord says, be fruitful and multiply. Now, I'm not sure if you understand what that implies.
Mhm.
It implies that the Lord is basically happy with the gift of sexuality and wants people to make lots of more people. That's what I want people to realize is part of the joy of life. It's not the entirety, but it's a
Yeah,
big
but
part
what
of
what
it.
are the bounds
And I
of
think
that?
we've all become so fucking crazed about like pedophilia and what else is it? Inappropriate touching. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Did your parents fondle you as a child? Is a proper word. Did they fondle and
No, my
caress you as
parents
a child?
were very appropriate with me.
So,
Uh,
but so they weren't if they didn't fondle and caress you as a child. I'm talking about as a baby. There are people who have told me that it's inappropriate for a woman to enjoy breastfeeding her children. That's fucking nuts. That's why there's so many autistic people out there, because they haven't had this connection. It's something called bonding. Are you even aware
is
of that?
Grace financially dependent on you?
She's actually running the show here.
Okay, but is she financially dependent on the show that you guys do together then?
I'm financially dependent on her.
Okay.
I work for her. It's called Thorp Corp. And anyone out there who wants to help us is welcome to. So I don't really understand.
Okay.
She's got $80,000 in the bank. She can
If you
take off.
guys-
She's free. I don't understand.
Right.
Why does everyone want to? You say you're a feminist. You think women are like animals.
I don't.
Yeah,
I
you're
think
not
that
a feminist at all.
I think that you encouraging I think that you encouraging her when she's looking to you for approval as a father and encouraging her to dance that way.
Oh,
and
you just
dress
say the
that
same
way.
thing over and over
then-
and over
wait,
again.
but
What if
you're not getting it.
What if
You're
I
not getting
encourage
it.
you? What if I encourage you? Okay, so I'm not getting it because I don't agree with you.
No,
Couldn't
that's not it.
I just say
I'm trying. You
we
keep
differ on
pivoting to
this?
different topics. You keep pivoting to different topics that
I
have
could
no
suggest
relation.
ways in which you could be more effective
And that wouldn't-
aesthetically if you
that
wanted
wouldn't
to.
be
Does
nearly-
that make
that-
you a victim? Does that make you
No, I
like
wouldn't
some sort of
care
a-
because you're not my father, right? Like I wouldn't care.
so
But
fathers can't be involved in their children's careers?
I mean, if you want your child, you made the point about wanting her to have a like healthy sexuality and embrace her sexuality and embrace her
Yeah.
body, right?
And she was
First, you made that
uptight.
point.
She's uptight.
100%. Okay, you made that point, but you're not encouraging it in a safe and healthy way. What is safe about this stranger
What
on the
is
internet?
unsafe about it? What's
A
unsafe about it?
stranger on the internet?
I'm a
who's
stranger on the
known-
internet. You're a stranger on the internet. Glitterbell is a stranger on the internet. Itanki Nogue is a stranger on the internet. Well, what the fuck are you talking about? There have been attractive women in media since media began. It was Audrey Hepburn's father a monster if he said, I love what you're doing. Is Marilyn Monroe's father a monster if he encouraged her in her career? What the fuck is going on
It's
here?
just it's a contradiction
There were
of what you
strangers who watched these women on the big screen, and some of them, yes, Stardust,
that
some of
is
them
not-
jerked off
you are
and had pinup pictures.
You are
What
claiming
the fuck is the
in
problem
one
with that?
sense, in one way, you were saying, "Oh, this is about her sexuality and embracing her body," and then in the other end, you're saying, "No, it's not about that. It's about her putting on a show." So which one is it?
She's having a young man named Darius who streams on Twitch. I think are you a Twitch streamer? No.
Yeah, I do YouTube and Twitch.
Okay, so you might know him, Darius IRL.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he's suggested that he comes here for a couple of days and they have an e-wedding in our backyard. And he's a very sort of sexual person. I think he's a nice guy. I'll have him here, and I would have other people here. And I'm not going to pay attention to everything they do after hours if they're drinking. They're adults, but she'll have to live with the consequences of it. And I trust her. Is that okay? I said, yeah, have him here. Great. Could he assault her and kill her? I guess so, but I mean, I've met him. I think he's a nice kid. He's going to be streaming.
You're shifting the topic again. You're shifting the topic again.
You
No,
want to
it's
sit here and go
not.
this one incident? Okay, fine. I've told you there's nothing wrong with it. I encouraged her. Do you think that a female can be sexually uptight? Is that possible?
Oh yeah, it's 100% possible. Yes.
Okay. Can a parent, ideally a mother, but in this case the mother's gonzo, right? So can, let's say, a mother say, listen, honey, I think you're being too uptight, and you should get more out there and wear something. I've obviously, ideally, it's going to be the mother figure who says, like, you know what, don't be too uptight. It's beautiful to become a young lady. All this stuff, right, through puberty. I had to fucking do that myself, and it's awkward. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to guide my daughters through menstruation and things like that. But okay. I'll try to help them. I try to be, whatever. But all I'm saying is proper parenting. You said to me that you don't think it's proper parenting to fondle and have a great time physically with little kids. I don't know. Maybe you come from a different culture. I think it's totally normal.
Fondle, when you pose that question,
look it up.
Look
up what fondling means.
No, but when you pose that question, you pose it within the context of your parent touching you or something like that. Which obviously,
right.
Which obviously
what?
When you phrase
what?
it like that, then it sounds inappropriate. But obviously,
because you're crazy. You are crazy.
When you grow up, hugging your parents,
yes.
Holding your parents, totally normal. Totally normal. But
and different families, different cultures have different. But it's really important that you fondle your kids and have a close physical intimacy with them when they're very young. Everyone knows that up until 5 minutes ago.
You know what the fondle meaning is?
The idea that a woman...
If you Google fondle, stroke or caress lovingly or erotically.
Yeah, right. So yes, stroke.
So it's completely reasonable. Completely reasonable with or erotically for me to think that maybe you're talking about in an appropriate way.
Well, physical intimacy with your children is similar to sexual intimacy in the sense that both things involve touching, and everyone gets so fucking uptight about it. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. So you wanted to know what my message is. My message is that I don't think Stardust, you actually have any problem with what I'm saying. And there is no other word for it. We don't need to redo the entire English language because yes, things have dual meanings. I've said it's totally fine.
Then do you fondle your kids?
Well, my kids are not little kids anymore.
Yeah,
so
but did you fondle your kids when they were little kids?
Yes. Did they sit on my lap? Yes, absolutely. Did they crawl into bed with me and watch TV with me on the with
Did but
us
will
on
will
the
you say
weekends?
will you say
Absolutely.
will you say that the specific words? Yes, when my children were small, I fondled them.
Yes, I told you that.
Specifically that sentence.
Stardust. Yes.
Say it then.
I
Say
fondled them. Yes.
Okay. All right.
I love fondling my kids when they were little kids,
Okay.
caressing them, soothing them. Yes, all this stuff. When they were crying, I would hold them in my arms. And maybe everyone's angry because they didn't have that experience, but there's nothing wrong with that. I tickled them. Sure. I wiped their genitals when they changed their diapers. Yes. All of these things. It's called being a normal human being and a healthy human being. And wouldn't you admit, Stardust, that if a man opens up the diapers of his child, male or female, and has a hard time dealing with the fact that they have genitals, that there's something wrong with that person?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's totally normal. But I mean, I think this is the result of pornography and, this kind of, it's crazy. Of course, you literally wipe the lips of the vagina. It's like, everyone knows that's true, right? I mean, you don't have any kids, I assume, but like any parent would tell you, like, yeah, right, of course. Do you enjoy it? I never enjoyed changing diapers, but I mean, whatever. Women seem to enjoy it more. The mother of my children, she enjoyed it. She said, I love changing diapers. I love to have that little thing. And yeah, it includes all of the body parts. It's fine. There are people who are weirdos, but it's like the rate of people who are sexually aroused by their own flesh and blood babies is extraordinarily low. You would admit that, right?
I don't know.
Maybe it's not anymore because of pornography. Maybe people see a baby's genitals and are sexually excited. I have no idea. It's like it wouldn't occur to me in how that could be in a million years. But maybe you suspect me of that. But I'll say it till the day I die.
That you enjoy
And I also-
fondling your kids. Okay, but again, there's
absolutely.
there's an erotic that
Maybe for you, maybe you're a real weirdo.
there's a
Maybe you watch like baby porn or
no,
something.
dude.
You're a sicko, Stardust.
Google the word fondle. Google the
Right,
word fondle.
it has two meanings. It has two meanings. So does the word flirt. Do you think that sometimes, let's say, a nurse in a hospital flirts with an older man who's lonely, whose wife has died, who's dying of cancer? Do you think that a female nurse might flirt with that man? Yeah, it's flirting. Look up flirting. It can have a sexual connotation, or it can be sort of playing at that. Is it morally wrong for her to do that? Maybe in your world it is. To me, that's one of the great joys in life, flirting with people, having fun. I've also said I enjoy masculine intimacy with other men. Like I used to play football, and I say I enjoy tackling other men and being tackled by them. And someone said to me, "Oh, so you're rubbing your penis against their asshole or something like that?" I was like, "No. But it's crazy if you think that that's oh, no homo. I can't play football because I'm going to touch another man. You are going to touch another man. Do you think that that's something to be worried about? That you're going to be like that football and baseball and hockey and all these games are like homo erotic, like havens.
I probably wouldn't
of...
call them fondling.
I didn't call them fondling. You know what, Stardust? You're a fucking asshole. You know that? You're a fucking asshole.
Maybe I am a
Fuck
fucking
you.
asshole.
I think you resent God and you resent his creation. I'm sorry, you're a little overweight, you're a little unattractive, you don't have a lot of energy, and you envy people who do. I'm sorry, it's not my fucking fault.
I mean,
I
you
would
think
lean,
that
I
you
would
have
try to
energy.
enjoy.
Being psychotic, yeah, sure. Being psychotic is one way of having energy, sure. I hope you seek some help for your mental health
Fuck you.
problems.
Suck my dick. Bye.
Smash, smash, smash!